Control Your Destiny in the New Year by Paramahansa Yogananda. If you imbue a thought of God with devotion and deeply imprint that thought within you through your concentration, then in the temple of superconsciousness, the Lord of the universe will come to welcome that thought of love. Ask God to help you realize all the good thoughts and resolutions you make now for the new year. Decide that you will do exactly what you think you must do, and that under no circumstances will you be led by your old bad habits to do otherwise.
There was for me a great
lesson to learn from the book I was once writing. I used to write without ever rereading the manuscript. This was a task I always avoided doing, but I had to read and reread repeatedly every little piece of my autobiography. The Lord was disciplining me,
but in a splendid manner,
because I enjoyed reliving those fantastic experiences while I reread them. In this life, I have ventured into many projects. I have given lectures, designed and built buildings, done artistic work, played musical instruments, planted gardens, founded a school, but the secret of my successes has always been the strength of willpower. I can truly say that destiny is what you make of it. Analyze yourself. What has become of your good intentions and noble ambitions from last year? Did you let them die due to a lack of the dynamic will to act? Make a strong resolution to avoid repeating old mistakes in this new year. Plan your time. Decide not to be a puppet, driven by the world and your habits, because this is not the path to true happiness. You must change. You must be capable of changing. A vague desire to improve is not enough. You yourself have made yourself as you are now, and you can become anything you want to be, but you must use the power of will. The bars of habits are prisons tighter than those enclosed by stone walls. Wherever you go, carry this invisible prison with you, yet you can be free. Decide now to escape from the prison of habits and rush towards freedom. How dreadful life is, where from the age of 3 onward we are limited by habits. As soon as I realized I was trapped in habits, I broke all those bars. I didn't want to allow myself to be shackled by habits that made me say, I can't do this, or I must do that. Or,
don't make me do this. It gets on my nerves. I still have...
I can't stand the cold, and so on. Why these habits since early childhood?
They are so strong.
Because they have been carried over from previous life experiences.
Our moods
They are marks traced on the graph of life by the karma of the country.
Yes.
Bad habits, bad moods are more unpleasant than the smell of a skunk. Why behave like a human skunk, making everyone uncomfortable and even cleaning yourselves? At some point, we've all done it, because we all carried with us some unpleasant peculiarities. However, we can overcome our undesirable traits. The human mind is elastic. If you stretch it little by little, it will yield to your pulls. But you don't even try.
God gave us more strength than that
It
above.
is enough to overcome all the trials and shortcomings of our lives. Saint Francis, although he was sick and blind, could heal the sick and raise the dead. Outwardly lacking sight, he saw within himself the great light of the universe. God subjects his true children, like Saint Francis, to greater trials than those given to ordinary people.
But no one
The
crosses.
gates of freedom until all the trials of God have been passed through, until he has learned to live as a true child of God. Why should you consider yourself a weak mortal? You are potentially a child of God. You don't need to acquire anything. You only need to know. Habits are grafts applied to your true nature, which is always free spirit. In my childhood, I used to get very angry, but when I decided not to anymore, I never gave in to anger again. If I had not used my willpower, I would not have been able to achieve this or anything else.
Between things in my life, you can also
Use your will.
Yes.
The mistakes of a lifetime can be corrected.
Teach itself.
Make a resolution this new year to realize this truth. Though as a mortal, you may have certain habits, as a divine being, you are free. Why should you lie to yourself? Why should you attribute past mistakes to yourself? You must destroy them. Otherwise, they will become grafts on the tree of your life. You must not allow this.
Affirm repeatedly, over and over.
I am a child of God. I am one with Him.
I am a child
I
of...
am one with Him. I am a child of God. I am one with Him. Every strong resolution you make with great determination can immediately become a habit.
Why shouldn't you be able to do that?
What you wish to do guided by reason.
Where do you
Harry,
feel...
away with all your flaws.
Goodbye.
Creations of last year,
Can you see which one it is?
inappropriate habits you may have put into practice. Perhaps you argue with people or eat too much. If you're jealous,
No, 7.
make the decision today and know that you will never do those things again. Never again. Simply tell yourself, Paramahansa told us that he had an aversion to editorial work, but became an editor. And if he could make himself an editor, I can do this. Why couldn't you? Everything I have tried to do with willpower has worked. And I give you the hope that if you make the decision, you too will succeed. God has given you the power to overcome your difficulties. Be careful, O mountains, not to machine gun. Your walls will have to collapse. These words are taken from a song whose author is a great Swami. In another part, he sang, "Attach my chariot to the fates and the gods." The Romans used races, the prisoners and their chariots, dragging them on the ground, a terrible custom.
That's exactly how they were.
It contains a lesson for us, because we allow our habits to treat us the same way. We should make habits our prisoners rather than our jailers. We should attach them to the chariot of our will and drag them, instead of being dragged by them. Being able to do whatever we know we must do, and not just what we might whimsically want to do, means being truly free. Learn discrimination in this new year. Examine every impulse that comes to you, to see if it is the right thing you should act upon. And when your reason tells you to do a certain thing,